Anyway, all right. Well, hey, welcome to Tuesday Mastermind Call, and I'm going to record this so that everyone in the group can watch it. Even if you couldn't make it today, we hope everyone is doing well and is safe. I know, being over the Southeast region, there's a lot of stuff going on over there. So we wish the best for all of you guys in Florida and along the East Coast that have been impacted by the weather. We are grateful to have Kristin take her turn on the hot seat today. And with this dynamic, if you recall, I just asked, that the coach kind of overview what's been working for them the best in their business recently, kind of share the best of their, techniques or skills or things that they've been doing that have been working, and then let you guys kind of put them on the hot seat, ask them questions or follow-ups or things that will just help all of us to become a little bit better. I think what is a given in our business right now, just speaking to the overall, idea of what's working or what's not working is, and what I love about Beachbody and what we offer is the demand for our products is not going away. It continues to be as strong as it's ever been. The demand and the desire for people to feel their best and look their best and engage in, fitness program or diet program, what we offer, as coaches, the demand is going to continue to be there. What evolves are, the tactics and how we apply the tactics of the business. The other thing I think that holds very true are just the principles of the 4 vital behaviors, the principles of, inviting and following up and attracting and, new groups of people, acquiring and developing and duplicating those things. Those are tried and true principles. Again, what evolves are the application of those. And I think, we are in a point in our business where, we have to learn what things work best, what skills and techniques work best within what we're doing. And so it's great to be able to share those in these types of forums. So, Kristin, I'm going to turn the time over to you to share a little bit about your approach to the business, what's been working best for you, and then I'll let we'll fire questions at you. So, take it away.
All right. Well, so it's funny how you were saying there's certain things that always remain the same in our business and some things we have to constantly be evolving with. And that was a lot of what I want to talk about is the importance of constantly evolving. Now I'm not going to share my whole story because I feel like you guys know me, but I am a mom of 4 and they're all, 7 and under. So I'm very busy. And so I am a very we need systems and we need things to be simple. So that is something I try to keep within my team as a theme. I don't like to overcomplicate things and throw too much at them at one time. But, when Craig asked me to be in the hot seat and, share what's working, I was like, okay, it's hard to nail down what is one thing that's really working? Because I feel like sometimes it'll work one month and then the next month it's like, okay, now I need to change it again. And, I asked my leaders, I said, so what do you guys find unique about our team? What is something that we do really good? And I was curious what they would say. And they cracked me up because they came back with, we love each other. We get along. We're friends. And, then it just fell into all these GIFs and them being so silly and having a good time. And I'm like, okay, I get that. We have an amazing tribe within our team, but I need to be able to teach this. How do I translate that into something that I can share with others? What has made our tribe? And so we brainstormed some things and I jotted down some things. And so that's one of the things I want to share with you guys. And then I'm also going to switch gears and share one other thing that I feel like is helping me reach Success Club that maybe you guys can bring back to your team too. But, I was talking, or Tracy Morrow spoke to my team for a leadership retreat over last May. And she shared some really great perspectives on things. And, she said, our business, like Craig said, it's always evolving, and I never feel like I have a complete handle on things. Like I've got this thing figured out. It's just, this is always working. I am constantly having to make myself grow and change and try different things. I'm always somebody who's very teachable. I'm willing to listen to what others are doing, take that and add it to my team. But we have to be very growth oriented. One thing that she talked about, and John Maxwell says this too, instead of being goal oriented, which we do need goals, we need to also be very growth oriented. Our business is like a muscle. If we are always working at the same way, we're going to hit a plateau. If we aren't growing, if we aren't changing things up, we're not going to continue to see that muscle growth. In fact, we may see some muscle depletion. Things will break down. And so it's the same thing with our business, is we have to be willing to try new things and continue to raise our lid, because what got us to where we are right now is what we've been doing. And so if we want to get to that next level, we have to change things up. So some of the things I feel like have helped my team develop a great culture is, one thing is I really pride myself on our team page is that it's a very positive community. I don't know if it's just like the way that we've, attracted each other through social media. We all have similarities, but it's a place where we do a lot of recognition, and not just recognition on hitting certain goals like rank and Success Club. We recognize a ton of different things. One of them, Jatana Jackson actually gave us this idea, Jatana, years ago, recognizing great social media shout outs. And that's also a teaching tool. So when I especially like to go to my newer coaches pages and find posts that they're doing that are really good and screenshot that, put it on our team page, and recognize that coach for sharing their story or how they approach sharing how coaching is helping their life, or, a great workout video clip they posted, and giving them some feedback as to why that was a great post. So they're getting recognition, you're giving them feedback that's positive, and you're teaching your team as well. So that's one thing that we do. Yes, we recognize Success Club points on our team, but I always try to bring that back to, what does Success Club mean? It's not about, just hitting a certain amount of points. It's about changing lives. That's what it's a reflection of. And not just recognizing Success Club 10 and Success Club 5. We are putting all points on the board now. I've asked my assistant to now not just do 10 and 5. Or it's really 10 and 6 now. But I think, we've got to recognize those small wins. And they love seeing their name on that flyer, even if it's 2 points or 4 points, that needs to be recognized, because that's an extra, for a new coach to make an extra $50 or $70. I remember my first commission from selling P90X. That was before challenge packs, and it was like $30 or something. And I was so excited about that I helped somebody, and yay, I got $30. That was really cool. And I think the further we get along in this business, we kind of start to get away from those little small wins, because to us that, that's $30, but to a new coach, that's huge. That's their first person. And then I am doing also, this is more of a rank thing, but the diamond board that, Ruth has shared with us, I've integrated that into our team, showing our diamonds and star diamonds, giving that recognition every week. We do volume boards as well. And then, and that's tied in when we recognize Success Club. And then Friday shout outs is something new I used to do, and I'm bringing it back again, because it's like I felt like I did it for a while, and then if you do something for too long, it almost becomes white noise for your team. You have to change it up. So I'm bringing that back and asking them to just recognize each other. If you see a coach in this team who's doing something really awesome, whether that's how they're sharing on social media, or they're rocking their challenge group, or they did their first invites, give that person some recognition here. And they love that. So that's one way. Recognition's huge. Another thing that I've done is, and I know some of us have shared that we do this, but message threads for our new coaches. I have different groups for them. So I have my September new coaches are in a message thread. It just kind of depends on how many coaches I've signed up that month, how many are in each group, and what group they're in. But I'm just giving them information, meeting them where they're at. I don't really necessarily have a script that I follow for that. It's kind of just listening to what their feedback is and what I'm hearing as far as their struggles. And And whether they respond to me or not, I still keep posting in there because, sometimes they're listening, but they're afraid to say something, and you just never know what might spark something in somebody. I have that for my newer coaches, but I also have one for my leaders. And that message thread is just like going all day long. They just talk about anything and everything, help each other with invites, help each other with struggles with, coaches that they're having, that they need to pull back in. Everything. We even have a dream big praise message thread, for people who just have prayer requests, and so I think it's just focusing more on the relationship of things, I think has helped build my tribe more so than it always being like, you need to get to this rank or you need to hit this goal. We care about each other as people first. And I think that's what's really helped keep our, my coaches close. And then of course, like retreats, I know some of you have done retreats. I really feel like they said that the leadership retreat has been a huge thing for them to be able to get around the other coaches on our team and the friendships that develop there. And then getting to other events. When Summer Tucker is my upline, and she has been following Danny Johnson and going to her events for years. And it took me a little time to come around to making that commitment to go. I was always excuses. Well, I have a baby or I'm pregnant, which I was, but my husband gone, living far away. But at some point I had to just set aside those excuses and figure it out, make the commitment to go. And by me going, guess who followed? A whole lot of my team. My team was not going until I made that commitment to go myself. And the moment I started going, I had like 10 people that first Danny Johnson conference, which was a good amount for your first time going. And, just leading the way, leaders lead the way and show the way. And I've even been able to eat lunch with Danny Johnson a couple of times for having the most people attending her conference. But it's not even just what we are learning from Danny. It is, again, bringing the team together. We're getting to hang out. We stay in a house together. It's exhausting, but it's really fun. And that's where a lot of relationships have been built. So, it doesn't have to be Danny, but find somebody that, you like to be mentored by. And I really suggest starting to bring your team together to events like that. Even if the first time you go, you have one or two coaches who go with you. You may not have a lot that go the first time, but you keep going back and more coaches are going to start seeing, they start watching you guys go and it looks like fun and they're getting a lot out of that. And then they start wanting to go the next time. All right. So the other thing is being able to pull in your coaches, use their strengths for where you're weak. I'm definitely don't act like I know all the answers or how to do everything. We don't get to staff people as coaches, but we certainly get to bring in some amazing people on our team who are better at things than me. I am not a detail person at all. Like I can get the big picture. For example, I'm talking to some of my coaches who are really trying to get to Diamond, and I want to run a group with them next month, just a small group to help their coaches who want to get to Emerald or, add a couple more coaches to their team. And I'm like, all right, so we're going to do this group. Now let's brainstorm some ideas. How can we make this awesome? So I'm pulling them in, letting them help lead that, letting them give input as to what they think is going to work, not me just saying exactly what we're going to do, giving them some buy-in to it. Talking about details for me just makes me I hate numbers, I hate details, and I have to bring in my team to help with that. So that's, the other thing I want to share is things that we do intuitively. We have to learn as leaders to break down into 10 actionable steps for other people. The average person's not going to get it. For me, building relationships with people and inviting, it's a very intuitive thing for me to be able to just talk to people about their goals and invite. It doesn't scare me. But a lot of my coaches, they're like, what do I say to this? And so I've had to really learn, especially as a Sapphire, and I attract a lot of Emeralds for some reason. And if you guys know what gems are, Emeralds like facts and steps, and I don't care about all that stuff. but I've had to learn to cater to that for my team and really give them things like scripts. Even though I don't necessarily always need a script to follow, it helps them see how to speak to people and how to slow down, how to train your new coaches, giving them a step-by-step format on how to do that. Sign them up, recognize them in the team page, send them this welcome letter, do the Getting Started Right call. Here's what you talk about on the Getting Started Right call. I mean, everything has to be broken down for them. You know, because I think a lot of us who are on here, our personality is we can just set the goal, go for it, we're going to kill it. You know, like that's just our mentality on a lot of things, but that's not the same way for a lot of our people who are on our team. And so we really do have to help break it down. So one thing that I really try to always ask myself, especially every quarter, is what is currently working? What is not working? Where am I seeing duplication? What am I missing? You know, and sometimes we can think that we know exactly what our team needs and we try it and then nobody's showing up and you're just like, you know, what happened? And so sometimes we can be a little bit disconnected. And so we've got to constantly just be communicating with our leaders on our team, asking them, you know, what are some things you feel like I'm doing well? What are some things that you think I could do better? And humble ourselves and ask that. You know, I've asked that before, and sometimes it's scary to ask that. Like, what am I going to hear back? You know, but it helps us grow. So that's kind of my leadership spill there. But I wanted to share with you guys something I feel like's helping me. And Jatana, I know you're listening, and I'm taking part of this from something she has helped teach me and my team. And then I tied in some things I learned from Melanie Mitro as well, kind of put it all together along with how I run my team calendar. So on my like page, when I run an ad for like a challenge group, I don't know about you guys, but I don't get a whole lot of feedback. I just don't. I don't know if I'm not targeting right or what, but what has been working is setting up events for me and running that as an ad. And I get quite a bit of interest, you know, of people saying they're either going or they're interested through setting up an event type ad. So what I've been doing is towards the end of the month, like I did this at the end of August, I set up an event for my September challenge group through my like page, boosted it, targeted an audience. And then what I did, and I set it as a challenge group sneak peek. Okay, so come learn about what my next 30-day group is going to be about. I didn't know I could do this until recently, and the reason why I'm doing it as an event first versus a group is you can invite people from your past free groups. So you hit invite, and then you can go, it'll show you like, oh, here's your past 7-day clean eating groups. I can go into there and I can invite people from groups, people who've been in my past free groups to that event. And so I can quickly see, okay, who is actually interested in continuing on really quick. So once I see that they're interested or they're going, I reach out personally. I don't just, you know, have them go into the event and then they're like, and I expect them to just sign up. You know, I feel like you still have to have that one-on-one connection. Now, I've done it two ways. I've run the sneak peek in the event, and I've run them in groups. I feel like and it's an extra step, it's kind of a pain, but once I get the people who have said they're going to that event, they friended me, if it's from the ad, you know, people that you don't know, I put them in a group. And then I run this actual sneak peek post in the group now. That just tends to work better. I get more interaction for whatever reason than I do if I just run it in an event. The event just tends to be for me to collect their names, and then I put it in the group. So in my sneak peek group, what I do is the first day is my story. Second day is like a tip, and I'll post transformations in there. I'm posting my workout videos. I really kind of just post what I would post in the challenge group. Then I go live, and I'm giving them a tour of Beachbody On Demand and telling them what we're doing in our 30-day group. Are you smiling at all of them? And so I think that it really helps explain the value of Beachbody On Demand. giving them an actual tour of it. Look, you're going to get all these meal plans. Look at all these workouts. Here's your program materials, and talking about Shakeology, why we use it, and the portion containers. So they can really get a good picture of that. And then the next day, it's, all right, here's how to sign up. Give them the link to Beachbody On Demand. And the people who comment done, Jatana, this is from you, I'm going to give a prize. And I've been giving Energize away. And I do a drawing for whoever signs up by a certain date. And now, sometimes my coaches are like, well, what if nobody comments done that they ordered and it's just a total flop? Again, that's where I'm having side conversations with people who've said they wanted to attend, not just using the event to get them all the information, but I am reaching out one-on-one about their goals and what made them interested, having that connection. And then when I know somebody's like, they're going to order, I tag them in that post. And then once they do order, I say, go make sure you comment done in our group so I get you in the drawing this weekend. And so they'll go ahead and go comment done. And then that starts to kind of create some peer pressure and a sense of urgency for other people. And they start commenting done as well. So that's been helping me reach Success Club. And then what I do from there is transition that right into my free 7-day clean eating group. So I always run a free clean eating group the second Monday of the month. And then my 30-day group's always the fourth Monday. And I've done that for years. That's one of the things I don't really change. It's a system that's worked for me. I've always done a free group every month. And I encourage my coaches to do the same. So that sneak peek into my challenge group then becomes my free group. So those who haven't ordered, I just say, hey, if you want to stay in here, we're going to go ahead and kick this off with a free 7-day clean eating for those who want to join us. This is our kickoff for the 30-day, but you guys are welcome to start with us here. Go ahead and just comment, I'm in, if you're going to join us. And so I'm getting to help those who aren't quite ready to order yet and work them through that funnel. And if they don't order that month, usually they do in a month or two. So does that make sense? Is that confusing? All right. So I'm using my sneak peek to talk to people, share what we're doing, transitioning that right into a free group. So any questions?
Lots of good stuff. I have a whole page of notes.
Okay. Good.
Yeah, Kristin, you covered the gamut on that. I hope that you found it productive. Sometimes it's good as you were going through everything. I'm like, sometimes it's really easy to be quickly pointing out in our head the things that we're not doing. It's so easy to be like, oh, I'm not doing this and I'm not doing that. But I like just the exercise that you did, Kristin, that was like, okay, what am I doing right? What has worked for me? And you outlined that so that then you can be consistent in those things. So if nothing else, what I've learned from this, it's to invite you guys, and I'll invite the coaches that I work with to make an outline of the things that are working and being intentional about that. And I thought it was very profound when you said, like, sometimes the things that you do as leaders that are intuitive, that just come to you naturally, or you've just been doing it for so long now that you don't even think of it. And you would think that anyone with half a brain would, do this thing. They're not going to do. They haven't occurred to it. Like you have to outline step by step, even the things that become, intuitive to you. I mean, anyway, I'm sure, Courtney's husband could give us all kinds of feedback on like coaching swimming, like even with their collegiate athletes, they probably don't take for granted even, the basics. You'd think they'd come into collegiate swimming and probably know exactly the right techniques and the right form. And they probably start with the most basic form when they're at the beginning of every season. And sometimes we have to do the same things, over and over again with our new coaches. So
yeah, and one thing I'm doing on our team page, I just started this past week, but I'm just like, okay, we got to get them taking more action. It's just been so quiet coming into the fall and school starting and the hurricanes. So I'm like, all right, guys, I'm thinking about this quote, breaking it down. I'm just going to post in here every single day what I do. And here's what you need to do. All right, you need to go add 3 people to your list. Here's a video on how to do that. You need to go connect. Here's some things you can say to people. this is an invite. You need to go send to 5 to 10 people, just giving them step by step every day. And it's kind of repetitive, right? But that's what they need to see, is that I'm not doing anything special. It's just doing the same things over and over again. And then I give them a little PD as well each day that they can listen to. So
you gave me an awesome idea. So one of the things I realized with a couple of my leaders quitting, that I've taken on their people. And I guess I lead differently than they do. And so these were things that I intuitively, like you said, thought they were doing, and they weren't. And so I'm going to make a thing called supersize your coaches, and supersize their confidence, because I see that was the piece that my coaches weren't doing with their coaches. They weren't posting on every time they posted. They weren't, checking in with them just to tell them how awesome they were, and all, they were managing them rather than inspiring them. And it never occurred to me until those people left that, oh wow, this is something that I do, but I guess I never taught it. So thank you.
Yeah, I know. It's something I'm always wondering, okay, are they reaching out to their coaches and doing this or that, or is it always did you invite this week,
Yeah.
So.
Very helpful, Kristin, as always. Yeah, I definitely, this is definitely, I feel like the season and fall, I feel like it's like this for me, where it's just so back to basics. And sometimes it feels like Groundhog's Day, because I'm they should know this already, but a lot of them don't. Like you said, Kim, the delivery is not always passed down, right? I've got so many leaders absent and step back, and they're typically your communication point, right? They pull the stuff from the team page and disseminate it down, but they're not really doing that. So Kristin, I like your idea of just showing your consistency in the page. It doesn't have to take all day. Even the teachers that are completely swamped at work, I mean, that's why I'm back to the 10-day. I'm you could work 10 days of every month and still bring a paycheck in. That's it. 10 days of every month, go all in. You could have the rest of the month off, but you can bring in a paycheck. But they get so overwhelmed with, I think, where to start and what to do. They just turn inward and don't do any of it. So I love that you reminded me to just, again, breadcrumb what I do every day.
Yeah.
And finding other leaders. I've realized that when my 2 people left, my other leaders came up big time. Maybe they just felt like they didn't have a position, and what you said, seek them out for what they're really good at. And I started doing that, and they're thriving. So everything you said, I loved.
I loved it too, Kristin. I want to add on, whenever you get these great ideas, I love your event and how you basically kind of do the challenge group sneak peek idea that I do, but on an event setup, which is amazing, and I need to give that a try. But one of the things that I found to be really beneficial when I come up with these ideas of something new that is working for me in my business is I go find 5 of my top leaders, and I teach them super intensely exactly what I'm doing. And I found that to be really helpful with duplication, because if I can get 5 rock stars on my team to go do IG stories the way they should be doing it, then the duplication happens so much faster, and it's less of me teaching everybody, but it's them trickling it down to their team. So
that's really good.
Scaling it up.
Yeah. That's a good duplication tip. Not try to feel like you have to duplicate with everyone, but find the influencers that are committed and can help get that out and teach them in great detail. Good stuff. All right, you guys. Well, in an effort to keep this tight on time, we'll go ahead and close it down. This information has been fantastic. Thank you, Kristin, and thank you to all of you guys that have been on and added your questions and comments and highlighted the things that stood out to you. I'll get this recording out to those who couldn't join, and we will see y'all next week. Have a good one.
Bye.
Bye.